Hello, Core 3 Topic students. This is Marcos, and I'm here to share the week 3 follow-up, just to give you a review of what we talked about in class this week and what's due next week and how to move forward best on your project and showcase another example of what we're working on at this point with our rebranding project. So real quick to remind you that we're, for our cross topics subject this week, it's motion. And we have 3 videos that you should be in the middle of or completed watching by now. The links are here on Canvas, and make sure you watch those. And then to create the exercise, there's a briefing both on Canvas and on the mural. The mural link is on Canvas, but you have a blank page here for each student. And if you can do the research for the different kinds of motion examples they're asking for, the 3 different kinds, and post those within this mural board. And then for our next step, our part 3 of our rebrand, we're going to continue creating our concepts even further. And now that we have a foundation for what each of your brands' history and past strategy and competitors and overall look and feel for how they've established their brand throughout history. Now it's time to start creating design directions, but still, I'm going to want you to create visual research that's going to support your design. So I want you to create 2 to 3 different design concepts that you write out that have a theme, that has some kind of a theme. Then this theme should be something that expresses how you're going to visualize and communicate and bring to life the strategy and the change that you've brought up in your new design strategy, and create these themes in a way that has a focus towards how you're going to make the change in your design. And then you're going to support each of those themes with a text talking about them, and then 2 mood boards, one that gives the overall look and feel vibe of this theme, and the other that provides tactical examples of how design techniques can be used, or design look and feel could be used to build that theme into something that's going to support your rebranding. So this is what we showed in class in terms of how the Mac project from the past did this. Here in the left column, you'll see each of these 3 concepts, and they all have a single word. It could be more than one word, but there's a simple concept, there's a compact concept, and there's a sleek concept. And each of those are supported by, on the middle column here, visual mood boards that kind of just showcase the look and feel of it through photography, and maybe through some design elements as well. But the second mood board should be much more focused around design techniques and examples of designs that you found that showcase the kind of ideas. And this is what we're going to talk about in our review sessions this week. On Tuesday, when we have our one-on-one sessions, I want to be able to look at these with you and start talking about what is it you're going to do with your design to create a look and feel that's going to support your theme and build your final logo design. So here it is on Canvas. And then quickly on the Canon project we showed on Thursday, this is an example of this assignment that continues to keep the work you've done from last week. So you're going to build on this deck. You're going to continue to add pages to it. You're going to have your current brand strategy, or your target audience or competitors, your current personality or new brand strategy, all the work you've done. And then you're going to add to it to this week, where you're going to start adding on to this idea of 3 different concepts. Here we showcase one called Modernized, with text that explains what this idea is about and how it supports the brand and the brand strategy. Then here's the mood board that showcases the look and feel and the vibe of this idea. And then here's the mood board that showcases design implementation and how design techniques, typography, color, form, illustration can be used to create an aesthetic that you're looking for the brand overall, for the logo and for the brand overall, not just the logo itself. So, and then we do that 2 more times. And if you notice here, they are different, but they're similar in many ways. So that's a good thing, because if you have one strategy, then you should be trying to develop that strategy in 3 different ways. But you also have the options we talked about in class to create variations on your strategy. So these concepts could be connected to maybe a slightly different audience, or if you're thinking of doing something a little bit different with your brand, you're not sure how to do it, you can make your options be about creating a design direction that's based on a strategy that's slightly different. Okay, so, and then of course, thank you, Paige. So let me also now share with you an example of this assignment from a few years back with this brand Krispy Kreme donuts, which I think all you're familiar with, which is kind of this this classic American brand that serves donuts and coffee, and has this kind of rich history from the 30s, and is popular and has kind of this cult following from millennials and Gen Z and all ages pretty much. And the current audience showcases the idea that it is various ages and different diverse ethnic groups of people. Lots of people love donuts, and Krispy Kreme is just really well known for being like almost maybe hard to find sometimes, but really good. And the competitors are Dunkin' Donuts is obviously the big one, and maybe Starbucks as well. In Canada, there's Hortons, and they're pretty big in Canada, but not so much in the US. And their current strategy has been just this idea of like building this long-term brand that has a following that's kind of family oriented, that is sort of, I don't want to say accidentally cool, but not, but cool in a way that they kind of keep to their heritage and try to just keep a consistent look and feel overall in messaging and how their brand is portrayed, focusing on quality and the experience of enjoying a good batch of donuts. So this strategy is, a lot of times it's not about having to fix something that's dramatically wrong. And this brand for sure was not about taking the approach that this is broken, it must be fixed. So the new personality is just to try to like keep things upgraded, keep things more towards the different ages that are coming up and getting older, like the Gen Zs that are emerging now, and being able to stay relevant, keep your heritage, but stay cool and new and modern, and not get old or old-fashioned, or not be seen as your like parents' brand. So all these ideas that they're going to show with this new personality are going to be around this idea of like keeping the nostalgia, but making it cool and hip. So all three of these ideas are going to be very similar, and that's okay, because we just want to be able to like take this kind of brand and look at it in a very sort of nuanced way. Your brand might be different. You may need to do dramatic things, and that's okay. This brand is more about just nuance, doing a little bit of shifting and changing. So the first one is called Retro American, which is obvious. It's just kind of about being, grabbing onto the retro feel of the brand and keeping what it's already there, but maybe finding a way to make it a little, keeping the kind of diner look, but trying to make it seem clean and fresh and new. A second idea is just more about vintage millennial, kind of bringing in a little more of a modern touch to the idea of being vintage or being nostalgic, but maybe having a little more a little more edgy, because it's got a more of a 70s feel to it, or a little more, taking the rock and roll aspect of vintage and pushing that a little bit more. And then there's one that's just more a little bit about just kind of modernizing and cleaning it up and getting away from the nostalgia a little bit, by getting it to be a little more minimized. And that's what this looks like. So as you can see with this represents the assignment that you'll be doing 3 different ideas. And in this case, they put their kind of vibe mood boards and then their tactical mood boards in 2 pages with text for each of the ideas. And that's one way you can do it too, as opposed to where I showed you a text page and then 2 mood boards. They did 2 mood boards with text on both pages. Okay, now what I want to show you is just the same project, but further down at the final stage. And again, they built on these same pages, but then with the retro futuristic, they took their mood boards together and put the images together, and then they were able to present this idea by showcasing how they took this retro futuristic look by scaling back on some of the elements that the brand has. You can see down here, the donuts has been taken away. Everybody knows it's donuts, and Dunkin' has done that too. They're not Dunkin' Donuts anymore. They're Dunkin', and this allows them to expand into other food if needed. But Krispy Kreme, the typeface is very similar. It's been upgraded a little bit. The little dot of the I is no longer up here. So these are nice and clean. And the biggest thing is this sort of shield that's around the brand has now been minimized to be a lot more sleek and futuristic looking. So it's got retro and futuristic kind of together, as the name promised. And then week after next, we're going to be working on touch points like this, but this showcases how that brand begins to come to life within some of their key touch points, like the donut boxes and the coffee cups. And then the second idea, if you remember, was this millennial nostalgia. And in this, they took a similar approach in terms of wanting to like minimize the elements, but bring up the volume on the shield on this one, taking away the outline and the donuts, but making it just a flat surface and utilizing pink as a color that brings more vibrancy to the brand and allows for more colors to be utilized in other applications. So here you see how this shield logo, pink shield logo, can then be sort of the hallmark for a more hipper, funner variation of how the brand looks with illustration like these donuts or color treatments like on the coffee cup there. And then the third idea was the more minimal idea. And here are the mood boards that you'll be developing this week for yours, which will lead you to a design that reflects that idea of minimizing even further. And here you see kind of a two-part logo system where they took the logo even further in terms of minimizing it, cleaning it up, and also did this new version of kind of a monogram mark with the two Ks together and brought the shield into this, so that when they have the logos nice and simple here, they can still keep a hold of the equity that this shield has and utilize it here. And as you can see, all three of these are very, here are the mood boards. I mean, here are the touch points for this one that shows just how you can use KK now instead of Krispy Kreme, and then some additional merchandise that shows this concept 3 in action. So, okay, but these design elements that I'm showing you here are for the future. Basically, you're going to focus on these mood boards and on creating the text that is describing what each of these themes are about. Okay, so Tuesday, we're going to have individual one-on-one meetings, and I'm working on a schedule now for that. I'll be sending that out by email on probably Monday morning. And then Tuesday will be a work day, so that you'll have plenty of time to work on this and on your next steps as well. And then feel free, if I know we're going nice and slow, and I'm purposely just taking each step each week, focusing on research and also now design. But if you're itching to be designing, which I know some of you are, feel free to begin to develop your design ideas as you create these mood boards, as you create these concepts. But you have to have a concept, and you have to have design inspiration mood boards in order to have a design. So I don't mind if you go ahead, but you got to have these pieces in place. You have to have all the foundations down and then start designing. So I'm happy to look at designs on Tuesday as well if you're racing ahead, because some of you might want to have more time to develop this even further. So don't be shy, but also don't be rushed either. We can take our time. So Thursday we'll have 3 review sessions. We'll break the class up in 3 and meet together in smaller groups and review each of your presentations in front of a smaller group, but getting my feedback and getting your group's feedback. Okay, so that's it for now, and look forward to seeing you each individually on Tuesday. Take care.